Something feels off in Baltimore. After the worst loss of the season, and with Lamar Jackson still sidelined, the whole mood around the Ravens felt heavy, almost desperate. But right in the middle of all that chaos, Zay Flowers decided to speak up, and what he said completely changed the tone inside the locker room. It was a clear, no-nonsense message that this team isn't giving up. What makes it even more intriguing is the timing. He spoke up right when everyone thought the Ravens were falling apart. But what exactly did Zay mean with that confident tone? And could his message actually change the course of the season, even with Lamar still out? The week started rough in Baltimore. After that 44-10 loss to the Texans and a 1-4 start to the season, things already looked bad, until the news broke that Lamar Jackson still hadn't returned to practice. Uncertainty spread fast, and everyone wanted to know how the locker room would react without its leader. That's when Zay Flowers decided to step up. He didn't shy away from the situation. He admitted that playing without Lamar changes everything. Any team would feel that loss. But at the same time, there was something different in his tone. Calm, firm, confident. He said he believes in Cooper Rush, believes in the group, and that the team's going to keep fighting. No scripted talk, no cliches, just a young player who truly believes in what he's saying. And that kind of attitude matters, especially from someone in his second year. Zay's not just talking. He's trying to hold the locker room together when things are falling apart. It's the kind of leadership you can't measure in stats, but it can shift the whole energy inside the team. Even in a moment when Baltimore has lost rhythm, confidence, and maybe it's MVP for another week, Zay somehow managed to bring a spark of hope back. That's what stands out the most. When the offense looks frozen and the team's being questioned from every direction, a voice like his can reignite that competitive fire. Baltimore might be far from where expected to be in October, but as long as players like Flowers keep their heads up, there's still something to believe in. The question now is whether that belief can turn into results, and everything depends on how quickly Lamar Jackson can return. The truth is, the Ravens are under serious pressure. Lamar's hamstring injury from Week 4 against the Chiefs completely changed the direction of the season. What first looked like a minor setback is now a real concern. He still hasn't practiced, and according to Ian Rappaport from NFL Network, his status for the Rams game is very much in doubt. That cloud of uncertainty hanging over the team's best player affects everything, on and off the field. Without Lamar, the offense loses rhythm, identity, and that magic spark only he can bring. He's the kind of quarterback who flips a game with one play, turns chaos into highlight reels. Without him, Baltimore looks lost. The 1-4 record says it all. This team's now in danger of missing the playoffs for the first time since 2021, a situation nobody saw coming when the season kicked off. What's even more concerning is that Todd Monken's system doesn't seem to click the same way with another quarterback. The creativity disappears, the run game loses its bite, and defenses start getting comfortable. The impact of Lamar's absence isn't just about performance. It's emotional. He's the heartbeat of this team, and without him, everything feels slower. There's still a small hope he might return sooner than expected, but every missed practice makes it harder to believe. And while the uncertainty lingers, the weight on Cooper Rush and the rest of the offense only gets heavier. That's where Zay Flowers' voice becomes even more crucial, because his confidence might be the glue holding everything together. And they'll need that belief more than ever, because what's coming next is no easy task. Cooper Rush came to Baltimore to be the steady backup, the reliable guy who could keep things afloat if Lamar ever went down. But his first start didn't go the way anyone hoped. Against Houston, he completed 14 of 20 passes for 179 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a 58.1 passer rating. Nothing seemed to click. Still, what stands out is how the locker room reacted. Despite the ugly loss, Zay Flowers doubled down on his belief in Rush. He said the veteran knows the system. He just needs time to get comfortable. That kind of support shows how the team is trying to stay grounded even when the pressure is sky high, especially with the spotlight now on their backup quarterback. To his credit, Rush didn't run from it. He owned his mistakes, said he needs to be better, and promised to bounce back. And even in that rough debut, there were glimpses of chemistry, especially with Flowers, who finished with 5 catches for 72 yards. It wasn't enough to change the outcome, but it gave a small sign of life in an otherwise flat game. Now, Rush has to prove that performance was just a stumble, not a pattern. The Ravens don't need him to be Lamar. They need him to keep this team alive until Lamar's back. And that challenge only gets tougher with one of the best defenses in football up next. That's where Flowers' belief might turn into something powerful, because this next game is shaping up to be a real test of resilience.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
The Ravens are walking straight into a storm. The Los Angeles Rams bring one of the top 10 defenses in total yards allowed, and a unit that ranks among the best in limiting points. It's a physical, disciplined, and opportunistic group, the kind of defense that thrives against uncertain quarterbacks. And with Lamar likely out again, Cooper Rush is stepping right into the fire. What makes this Rams defense dangerous is balance. The front four generates steady pressure, while the secondary plays tight coverage and rarely gives up big plays. That means Flowers and the receivers will need to win fast, and the run game has to show up to ease the load. One mistake, one turnover, and the Rams will make you pay. Todd Monken's going to have to get creative. The game plan needs to protect Rush. Quick reads, short passes, and plenty of chances for Zay Flowers to make plays after catch. Baltimore can still be explosive when they find rhythm, but to do that, they have to start strong and take care of the football. Against a defense like this, every possession matters. Even with the odds against them, there's still a glimmer of hope. The Ravens have enough talent to pull off a surprise, and Flowers could be the spark that turns things around if he keeps playing with that same fire. Everything now depends on execution, discipline, and belief. And if there's one thing this team refuses to lose, it's belief. Even with their backs against the wall, that's what's keeping Baltimore alive heading into Week 6. There's no denying it. The atmosphere in Baltimore is tense. A team that started the year with playoff expectations now finds itself sitting at 1-4, its franchise quarterback injured, and a tough schedule ahead. Every week feels heavier, every mistake magnified, and the margin for error is shrinking fast. John Harbaugh is doing what he can to keep everyone focused, but he knows the pressure's real. This roster wasn't built to fight from the bottom. It was built to compete at the top. And it's in moments like this that you find out what kind of locker room you really have. Zay Flowers' message proved that he understands that better than most. Now it's about turning words into action. The Ravens have to rediscover their identity. The fast, physical, fearless team that puts defenses on edge. It starts with the basics. Protect the football, minimize mistakes, and take advantage of every chance. If they can do that, there's still time to shift the momentum. But if they stumble again, things could spiral quickly. A loss this week would drop them to 1-5, and that might be the point of no return. That's why this matchup with the Rams could become the turning point of the entire season, or the breaking point. Flowers lit a spark with his words. Now we'll see if that spark can turn into something bigger before the light goes out. In the end, what Zay Flowers did was more than just talk. It was a reminder that there's still life in this team, even with Lamar Jackson hurt. With criticism pouring in and the season hanging by a thread, he showed that the Ravens still believe. That kind of mindset can change everything. It's the difference between giving up and fighting until the end. But now comes the real test. Can that belief be enough to keep Baltimore alive until Lamar returns? This next game could reveal a lot, not just about the Ravens season, but about who Zay Flowers is becoming as one of the true voices of leadership in Baltimore.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.